Okay, let me see. I'm it's getting really really old seeing these people, as I was talking about in my video yesterday, about the people who are offended by everything nowadays, mainly because of feminism. It's really annoying when they're like, you can't say anything funny anymore, you can't talk about anything. People just love to say, I'm offended, that offends me. I don't give a fuck what offends you. Nobody gives a fuck what offends you. You just need to shut your fucking mouth. Nobody cares, you know? And it's really annoying that right now there's this huge outcrying for normal people to allow transgender and gay people to not really be brought to the forefront, but to just be recognized. And every step that they're taking to do this, people got to put in their 2 cents and act like it's not something that's cool. We have a bunch of transgender movies that have came out, and one is the new one with the guy that plays a girl and whatnot, and people are saying they should have had a transgender person in it, and they should have cast a transgender person, and maybe they didn't cast one because they didn't want to detransition and all this bullshit. And everybody's coming out saying that this movie is awful and blah blah blah. And so I watched some dumb chick's video the other day that was a transgender girl, and she was saying she's seen it, blah blah blah, and then she didn't like it, and she can't believe they didn't get a transgender actor, and blah blah blah. It's just fucking horse shit, just stupid, ignorant horse shit. And then in the end, she said she hasn't seen the movie, and she's not gonna watch it. Well, how the fuck can you say something about something that you've never seen and you don't have any intention of seeing? You know? How can I talk about some African tribe that I don't agree with? I don't agree with their politics. I mean, yeah, I live in Japan, and I'm never going to go to Africa. I'm never going to go to their place where they live, but damn it, I don't like what they have to say. Does that sound fucking smart to you? Does that sound intellectual in any way? Or does that sound fucking stupid? Because it sure sounds fucking stupid to me. That sounds stupid enough to where I'd want to slap that person in the fucking face and tell them to shut the fuck up and use their goddamn brain. So it I just don't understand how you can bring out, there's so many movies coming out, so many good stuff that's happening, and I can understand when normal people say things where you're going to get offended, because some of the stuff people do is really annoying. This whole thing of, people interviewing transgender people, and then they're talking about their penis and their vagina and their sexuality, and nobody would do that to a straight person. Start talking to them and ask them about their dick and what's between their legs and who do they sleep with, and it's just not, that's something that nobody would do. So to get upset about that, I can understand, and to get upset about the movie that came out with the riots that happened in New York back in the 60s and 70s, when the first person who threw the rock was a transgender black woman, and they have young twink white boys playing the role now, throwing the first rock and completely rewriting history. Stuff like that, yeah, that's a good reason to get, that's a real reason to get pissed off. But to get pissed off at a story where they wanted to hire somebody that was good at doing acting, very good at acting, and wanted to portray a character in a certain way with a certain style, and find somebody that had somewhat of the characteristics and the mannerisms of the real person is I don't understand the outrage. It doesn't make any sense. It seems to me disingenuous. that somebody would act like it was a genuine thing for them to be upset about. You know, that, you know, most of the stuff that I hear them talking about, it just sounds like complete bullshit. Like they're just making things up to be pissed off about, which is kind of a feminist go-to move, you know. And like I've said before, I think this is coming out of feminism. But there's just this inherent need nowadays to be offended by something or somebody. You have to be offended no matter what. It's got to happen, you know. That offends me, this offends me, blah blah blah. It's just it's getting really fucking old, and I'm tired of this victimhood complex of people saying like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you can't say this, you can't do that to me, this is a trigger warning. There's all these fucking people that are just ill prepared for life by doing this, and it's coming out of this childhood now, where kids don't get spanked anymore, and they're not shown, because they have no father figure, what it means to have respect and what it means to listen to other people. There was a time when children were meant to listen and not be heard. That was the saying. You didn't speak unless you were spoken to, because when grown-ups were talking, you were supposed to be listening, because you would actually learn something, instead of just going like, I know everything, nobody can teach me nothing. Yeah, I'm 12 years old, but I know everything. You know, this is the kids we're raising now. And we wonder why they have no respect, and why more and more shit is happening, and why less and less respect is being shown to teachers and authority figures from children and millennials. And the reason why is because they're not being shown at a young age that you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't do that. You know, you learn how to keep your fucking mouth shut when you're a child, because when you do something, your mom smacks you. You know, if you do something wrong and your mom says, wait until your father gets home, I'm going to tell your father what you just did, and he's going to spank your ass till you're red. You know, that kind of shit is what kept kids in line. It's not abuse. That's what kept them in line. Why do you think kids were so well behaved up until the 60s, until 1960, when all this shit started to come about, and everybody started to change to this new style? Why do you think that happened? You know, why do you think we are where we are right now in our development and our children and all these problems that we're having with ADHD and all this stuff? Most of these aren't real things. They don't want children to run around. They don't want them to be high strung. They want them to sit and be shown in school how to think. You know, not really even how to think, what to think, which is not a teacher's, you know, as an instructor myself and a teacher, that's not what your job is if you're a teacher. Your job is not to tell people what to think. Your job is to show them how to think about things. And that's the problem that we've switched to now, is there's all these people that say, like, you can't hit your kids. You can never hit your kids. You know, and these psychologists that come out and say, like, it's not good to hit your kids. Bullshit. There's a reason why you hit your kids. Because it shows them at a very young age, first of all, not to run your fucking mouth, because you're going to get hit. You know, which is why you see all these dumbass people on the internet that are walking around saying stupid shit and spouting off at people, because they don't realize that they shouldn't do that. Nobody ever taught them that they shouldn't do that. And then eventually somebody smacks them in the mouth, and that wakes them up. When you are running your mouth, being an asshole, and showing a complete lack of respect for the people around you, and somebody punches you in the face, you get a real quick wake up, like, damn, I shouldn't have been saying that. You know, and you're supposed to learn that when you're a child. You know, when you're saying some stupid shit or doing some stupid shit when you're a kid, and your dad comes up behind you and smacks you upside the head and goes, what the fuck are you doing? That teaches you, as you get older, to think about that yourself. You start thinking like, geez, maybe I probably shouldn't do that because somebody's going to fucking punch me in the face. You know, they don't have that concept anymore. They don't have that mindset. They think that, like, it doesn't matter what I do, what I say, I'm fine because I'm just awesome. You know, I got a gold star for everything I did when I was a kid, even if I got an F. You know, I got a trophy for just showing up to the game, you know. So I'm awesome, you know. And this is what we're teaching kids now. We're teaching them to be complete losers, and that even if you're a loser, you're a winner. What kind of fucking concept is that? How can you be a loser and a winner at the same time? It doesn't work. You know? If there's two people playing a football game and one team loses, they're not winners. You know? And this whole it makes people not want to compete. You know? You don't have a reason to compete in life and to try to strive to do something in life if you know that even if you don't, this is why I say you're ill prepared when you get out of school and out of college, because kids are raised in this thing where, oh, it's trigger warnings and blah blah blah. As you get older, there's none of that in real life. So when you get out and you go to work and some guy hires you out of college and you have this whole stupid mindset of trigger warnings and treat me with kid gloves bullshit, the first time you pull that shit in work, they're going to say, get the fuck out of here. They're going to fire your ass because they don't want any of that. And like I say, you learn that respect and that honesty with yourself and with other people when you're a child from your father, not your mother, from your father. Fathers teach that, you know. So when you do something wrong and your dad spanks your ass and says, fuck, don't do that again, you know. A couple times of that happening, and you start to think in your mind when you're thinking about doing it, you start thinking like, I shouldn't do that. I'm going to get caught and dad's going to spank my ass. So I probably shouldn't do that, you know. But if that never happens and you just get thrown in a corner and count to 3 and say, stand in the corner for 5 minutes while you whine and cry, that's not showing them respect. That's not teaching them respect. It's not teaching them how to problem solve. It's not teaching them anything. And these people who want to say that it's better to do that are complete idiots because they have a complete lack of understanding of the demonstrable proof that is our society now. This has been going on since the 70s because of all these stupid hippie feminists that said it wasn't right for fathers to hit their sons and daughters because feminists wanted to have the control of the children and wanted the fathers not to have control. So their whole goal was to get the control away from the fathers, because without a father figure in your life, it's been shown that 95% of the people in jail are from unwed mothers and single mother families. Most of the people who are atheist and that had a mother and a father with a strong father figure don't turn out to be losers. They don't turn out to be uneducated, dropouts, high school dropouts, unwed mothers. When you have a father figure, a strong father figure, and a mother, what tends to happen is they go on to college, they have a great life, and they have a drive to succeed in life. If all you have is a mother who's a feminist, so her whole goal is to make you feel like shit, and though they're not going to hit you, they're going to mentally scar you. If you have that kind of a growing up in your mind, you're not going to make anything of yourself in life, and it's going to be very hard for you to strive to succeed, because you just don't have that mind. Your mind doesn't think that way. You know, you learn that mind. That mind is completely taught to you by a father figure, by a father. You know, not a lazy father. I'm not talking about these lazy motherfuckers that sit on the couch all day and watch football. I'm talking about a real father, somebody that goes to the ballet recital, somebody that sits down and talks to you, somebody that tells you it doesn't matter if you're pregnant, if you're doing drugs, if you're having trouble in school, if you have a bully, you know, something happening at school, tell me. I'll try to help. You don't have to ever be scared. You can come and talk to me. When you have a father like that, you have a good chance of making something of your life. If you don't have a father figure like that, or you don't have a father at all, the chances of you ending up with a criminal record, or in prison, or on drugs, or any number of things are 200% fold up. You know, it's just that's just proven. That's proven science. It's been shown in many cases. It's just you know, these are things on my other channel I'm talking about MGTOW and feminism and things like that. And these are things that feminists never want to bring up. You know, it's men's fault. Men's fault for everything. Men are the reason. Men are the problem, not the solution. And you know, they're killing themselves. They're going to basically make all men not want to have anything to do with women. I'm already one of them, and there's thousands more like me in every country. 70% of the people here in Japan are herbivore men, which is basically a Japanese MGTOW. And we're closing schools all over the place. Less and less men are getting married, and less women are being able to find husbands. And they're having to go and be prostitutes. You know, a lot of the prostitutes in the United States and in Japan and in most countries are unwed mothers' kids. They had no father figure in their life, and most of them that end up on porn sites, that end up stripping for a living, all these kind of things. Most of those people are products of unwed mothers or people that had no father figure, you know. And it's really sad. You know, that's the whole point, you know. But like I say, that's getting off into another thing. I can do a whole nother video about that. But you know, I thought I'd bring that point up. I don't understand the offense. I don't understand how. I don't understand why these people have this idea that everything's a trigger warning now and everything's offensive, and you know, the whole thing of you know, everything's misogynist, everything's racist, everything's this, and you have to point it out, like some dumb feminist had said, you know. And the thing is it's like I always say, if you go on Google and you say something really stupid, you know, you make something up, and then you say, I'm going to search for proof that that's true, just some crazy demonstrable statement. You could search on Google, and chances are you'll find somebody that'll say it's true, you know. So it doesn't mean it's true. It just means that if you want to find the proof, you'll probably find it. And if that's all you need to justify you being an asshole, or you being a bitch, or you being irresponsible, then that's all it's going to take, you know. You're not gonna need any more than that. And that's what a lot of these feminists and a lot of these people do. They just think it's perfectly fine to be a complete fucking loser and do these things and think, it's fine. Yeah, it's no big deal. You know, it's perfectly fine. So I thought I'd come on and talk about that stuff. I've got a bunch more stuff I want to talk about. It's just I get so annoyed talking about these things, you know. So if you like this video or you got something to say about it, go ahead and do it in the comment section below. Share, like, and subscribe. And as always, have a good day.